rambunctious crowd you are. So here we are in the final throes of this elongated, finally about to end campaign. It's been tough, unyielding in its demands and its competitive fury. Everyone will agree that Tom Mulcair has fought a magnificent and principled fight. All proud, how different from the others, which prompts me to tell a tale of three leaders. There surely has never been a time in Canadian political history when a Prime Minister has brought his office into such disrepute. I was listening to a Tory radio commercial just yesterday in which Stephen Harper says, "It's not about me." But he's exactly wrong. It's all about him. Mr. Harper has made this election irreversibly personal. In his own views, expressed categorically, that have defamed and defaced the integrity of the Prime Ministerial office, Tom Mulcair says that Stephen Harper is playing a dangerous game. That game, for crude political advantage, leaves Canadian multiculturalism in tatters. Mr. Harper has made Islamophobia the centerpiece of his campaign. From Bill C-51, through the refugee crisis, through the niqab, through ominous threats about extending the ban on the niqab to the federal civil service, through the revocation of Canadian citizenship, through barbaric cultural practices, Stephen Harper. Stephen Harper has played the hand of fear. It isn't that it's just unworthy of a Prime Minister. It's actually, when you think of it, shocking, mortifying, that a Prime Minister of Canada would descend to such political depths in the lust to retain power. Mr. Harper has left a divided and intolerant inheritance for our country. He has trained his political guns on his own citizens. No wonder Tom Mulcair says that Stephen Harper doesn't deserve to be Prime Minister and that he'll take him down at the first opportunity if Mr. Harper happened to win a governing minority of seats. Receive his dishonorable discharge. By the way, that dishonorable legacy is exceeded only by the bizarre touches that panic and folly invariably bring. Can you believe that Stephen Harper, this very weekend, is wrapping his arms around Rob Ford, former mayoral travesty of Toronto. Picture this, a political desperado embracing a drug desperado. Enough is enough. 10 reactionary years on the dark side of political life. It's truly time to allow light into our political soul. It's time for change. my friends, will not come from Justin Trudeau, the second in this tale of three leaders. I need not recapitulate ad nauseum what we all know. Justin Trudeau's indefensible rationalizations over Bill C-51.
Shame!
The inexcusable support for the XL Keystone Pipeline. A wanton silence around the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Adamant refusal to set targets for the reduction of carbon emissions. Classic resistance to raising taxes on multinational corporations. So much of the policy is etched in simple-minded rhetorical flourishes, uncertainty, confusion, and contradiction. It inspires neither trust nor confidence.
That's right. That's right.
And for this, we are now asked to join in a quest for majority government. Give me several breaks. But there's always a day of reckoning for calculated political ambiguity. And that day arrived just 72 hours ago. Mr. Dan Gagné, a co-chair, not some minion, not some peon, but a co-chair of the Liberal campaign, traveling on the Liberal leader's bus, whispering sweet strategy into Justin Trudeau's ear, using his position as a corporate mole to advance the corporate ambitions of TransCanada. And we're told that the Liberal Brain Trust had no idea of his dealings over the last several months, no idea of his brazen abuse of power. Amazing, totally amazing. This is just the old sponsorship game, only this time they're sponsoring TransCanada. And when it was revealed, the first instinctive response of the Liberal leader was that there was nothing wrong. It was only in the face of public reaction that they sent Dan Gagné to the guillotine. I actually regret having to say, but for the Liberal Party, things never change. For the Liberals, this type of behavior is Pavlovian, completely without scruple. Take advantage wherever advantage can be taken. But the voters have another choice, and that choice is Tom Mulcair. Particularly compelling about Tom Mulcair, in stark contrast to Stephen Harper, is his integrity and his courage. The kneecap controversy is a testament to that integrity and courage. Like so many of us, Tom Mulcair is uncomfortable with the kneecap and well understands the aura of oppression that surrounds it. But he equally understands how morally wrong it is for the state to dictate how a woman dresses at a citizenship ceremony. That stand may be, Tom holds his ground. He doesn't flinch, he doesn't retreat, he doesn't budge, he holds his ground. I well remember when Tommy Douglas and David Lewis, my father, held their ground against the War Measures Act, when epithets of calumny and of treason were rained upon them, but so too, in terms of courage, is Tom Mulcair. In addition, and allow me to say this, what particularly sticks in the craw about this issue is the cosmic conservative hypocrisy. Stephen Harper has cut grants and eliminated grants to women's groups across the country. He's damaged some of them irretrievably, he doesn't give a hoot for the rights of women. And suddenly, for the crassest of anti-Muslim motives, he cares about gender equality, a pretend, fraudulent feminist in wolf's clothing. Yet another dimension of Tom Mulcair that is both so appealing and so admirable is the intelligence and commitment with which he addresses NDP public policy. There's no hyperbole. There's no inflation. There's no series of empty platitudes. They're just the systematic rolling out of a program which, taken all together, amounts to a progressive vision for Canada. You're all familiar with the details, from the $15 a day universal childcare to a commission of inquiry into the missing and murdered Aboriginal. To deal with fossil fuels sufficiently robust to carry us with pride and targets to the International Conference on Climate Change in Paris. These items, plus all the others, all of them add up to a thoughtful, doable, social democratic plan for Canada. It stands in dramatic contrast to Stephen Harper and Justin Trudeau. But before I quickly conclude these introductory remarks, there are two other points of contrast that must be noted. First, with Tom Mulcair as Prime Minister, the entire mood of the parliamentary process would change. This is no small matter. In fact, it lies at the very heart of democratic governance. What we have now is an ill-mannered bear pit of snarling malevolence, frequently churned to frenzy by the Prime Minister. Serious debate in that kind of crucible is impossible. The government wears down the opposition with impenetrable omnibus bills, committees that don't work, a question period without answers, laced with incoherent cacophony, in short, a parliamentary regimen orchestrated to frustrate the democratic process. And that's what Tom Mulcair will change. He'll usher in a transformed political culture. It will make a world of difference. Civility will be restored. With civility comes rationality. With rationality comes progress. These are not romantic nostrums. It's the way Parliament should work. The second matter has emerged in these last days of the campaign. It's the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Tom Mulcair refuses to be bound by what's been secretly negotiated. He's right to draw a line in the sand. It's not merely the prospect of significant job loss in the automotive sector and the rupture of the dairy industry with damaging fallout for farmers. No, it's also, some would say primarily, the gains that have been won by the pharmaceutical multinationals, putting both drugs and drug prices out of reach. My friends, this is something with which I'm intimately familiar. These trade agreements that bow before the demands of the drug companies not only put the manufacture of generic equivalents at risk, but they jack up the prices for domestic consumers, that is to say Canadians, and wildly inflate the prices charged elsewhere by virtue of outrageous patent protection. And please believe me, that can cost lives, and does cost lives in the developing world. I have seen it endlessly and painfully over the last decade here in the United States. by warped political motives, then we're on the right side of history at home and abroad. So let it Tom Mulcair and the NDP stand clearly as the alternative to Stephen Harper, and it leads me to want to end with reference to these final days. It's going to be a close race in many ridings, everyone acknowledges that, but key ridings are ours for the taking. If every waking hour between now and when the polls close on October 19th is used to win over the voters, we have sublime candidates. Many of them verge on angelic perfection. We have a terrific organization on the ground, the kind of organization that can override any other factor. And if on election day itself, you move methodically from door to door, a dozen times if necessary, rounding up voters who support us, allowing them no delay, no rest, no recreation, no food, just the act of casting their ballot. Just savor it. The dream of a lifetime coming to fruition. Generosity of spirit, compassion, planning, improving the human condition, the vision of a profoundly decent, civilized society, and who will lead us to this promised land? The man all of us wish to see as the next Prime Minister. Welcome, Tom Mulcair.